Hey guys, just finally got done here having my trailer unloaded at the Target distribution here in Rialto, California. When I tell you this is the absolute worst, number one by far. I've been driving trucks for over 15 years on and off and delivered to thousands of receivers, then the thousands of shippers. This place here, it's a large facility, okay, and it's just I'm gonna have to do a video on this, okay. Just the people at the check-in, the initial guard shack. That's where the main problem lies, right there. I've looked at reviews and stuff, and I've seen reviews of about 8 hours to 17 hours of taking to unload, and they did not fall short of that expectation. I got here around 4 o'clock. It is now almost 11 o'clock. So it took about close to 7 hours. I did ask them about overnight, and they said, forget about it. Said, no chance. But my main issue right off the bat is before even achieving our arrival. Oh God, hold on a second. I just realized they didn't tell me where my trailer is. So now I'm going to try to call them back to see where. I got to walk all the way back to the receiver. But just overall nightmare. You hear me? Nightmare. Again, this is the Target distribution in Rialto, California. And from my understanding, this is like a double distribution. I've been to plenty Walmarts, Sam's, and other companies, but this one is literally like a dual distribution. I guess they have the regional over-the-road loads from out of state, and then they have what they call their upstream or something like that right next door. So huge facility here. And my main pet peeve was the address or the route to get here. This is located near the Pilot truck stop in Rialto off of the 210 freeway. And it's exit 68, Alder, Alder. And you need to take that road and go north of the freeway. And what happens is you're going to literally feel like you're trespassing because these roads or streets do not look like streets anymore. There's no sidewalks. You're going through business properties. I think there's a mining company, and literally it's a maze. It's a maze to get through. You got to make a series of rights, lefts, lefts. And it was so frustrating because there was 2 separate employee entrances on the north side of that road. So I literally went around it. I really felt like I covered so much businesses, streets, area to get to the employee entrance, which I assumed there might have been a guard shack or between both those entrances, because again, there was an entrance for the regional and then an entrance for the upstream, I think they call it, and neither. And once you got to those entrances, there was on the upstream one, there was kind of room to go ahead and make a U-turn. I got them confused which one was which, but the other one turns out to be a dead end, okay? And you think it's wide enough street that you can make a U-turn. I did, but I had to utilize one of the driveways that gave you just enough space beyond the sidewalk, and it was a closed gate. So very small sign on the right side. It looked like the size of a stop sign on the sidewalk that said no trucks beyond this point. I knew something was up because I think the name of the street, Casa Grande or something like that, Spanish name street, there was signs that said no trucks, just a picture with a red cross on it. So it didn't make sense because you knew there was Target there. And it was right side of the street was closed in residential, like subdivisions. So the street looked real new. And it just seemed like, hey, they're doing this because they want to make it difficult on truck drivers. But common sense kept pulling me, like how a water pulls a turtle after they lay their eggs and you hatch to find the water. I was finding the target. And neither entrance, there was no man. It was, you had to have a pass for the gate to open up, come in there. So it was really confusing because I literally went almost 3/4 around the entire double entrance facility. So I was like, now I had to come back to my original path that I came up to, and I talked myself out of it because these roads had like barricades in it, and they literally looked like they were going to go down a dead end and you weren't going to have room to turn around. And very poor signage, letting you know. I mean, I think I saw graffiti on one of the on concrete barriers that said Target, but it just like you didn't realize that was the entrance. Did a very poor job. No written instructions on the delivery paperwork from the broker, nor on the BOLs, and that's very rare if you're going to get that. What just really bothered me, because it was really challenging, is I read, write, and speak the English. For all our fellow drivers that will not find this place unless they've been there before. And that made it really sad for me because I don't mind learning from mistakes. Number one is I do not like making mistakes, okay? So when I make a mistake, I get mad at myself. But this made me more mad because it was, I don't want to say a forgivable mistake, but this is like getting caught in a trap. You know, like when they have these big water buckets or mouse traps and all these mouses just keep falling in, whatever, you know. And I don't normally run with the pack. I do my own thing different, okay? But here, I just felt like this was like a trap that you could not avoid. And in the trucking business, you got so many trucks and trailers coming in and out of here. And this was my first experience, okay? And it just, it left a sour taste in my mouth. Now, I'm going to grow from this because I'm going to learn. But at the bottom of my heart, I can tell you this is the number one worst facility I ever came to make a delivery. And I'm talking about long waits. I've been to, you know, maybe lost paperwork, maybe breakdowns, maybe this was my number one worst experience ever making a delivery to a receiver. And we're talking Target, which is, you know, a top 10 retail business nationwide here in the United States. And guys, just be careful. I feel sorry for the guys that are going to go through the problem I went to. Very frustrating. Like I said, I went down one road that literally you had to would have to back out more than a quarter of a mile, okay, quarter of a mile in reverse, backing out onto a street. But I was able to use my skills to avoid that from happening for me. But I know drivers, new drivers, whether you're Swift, you know, any other, you know, any other carrier. I shouldn't mention a carrier, but any new driver, you're going to have a huge problem, and you could tear up your truck, you could tear up property. It just compounded, make it worse. And this facility should know, hey, drivers are having this issue. Even the Google Maps was not clear. It confused me. So just guys, be careful of this place. I'm going to give you the address. The address here was 2702 Summit Ave, Rialto, California, zip code 92377. Again, this is DC 3806 for Target. Target DC 3806. Address, once again, is 2702 Summit Ave, Rialto, spelled Rialto, California, zip code 92377. Top of that, they don't have any overnight truck parking here. So, you know, California's hard enough to get your parking. And now in the middle of the night, you know, now it's on you. So guys, I just, if you guys have experienced this from this location, please guys, comment down below. Please, I also suggest make a Google review. I looked at the reviews. There was mounds and mounds, piles of negative reviews. And they were a little bit more focused on the waiting time and stuff, which is important. But the issue about getting here. So let's let the word out so other drivers can know and they don't have an issue. Guys, God bless. Be safe. And, you know, you got to spread the word. Whether it's a good thing, they say good news travels slow, bad news travels quick. I hope this bad news travels real quick so drivers don't have an issue and you get into a stupid accident or you get late and then you don't get your detention and all this other stuff. It stops you from getting your next load. And then also plan for parking accordingly when you leave the facility. God bless, guys. Thank you once again. We reached a recent milestone again with subscribers. So thank you. God bless. And just be safe.